Welcome back, and thanks for joining Ty the Gun Guy. Well, here we are, the third week of April. Who would have thought it'd be snowing right now? Ay, ay, ay. Hopefully you guys are staying healthy, staying home, getting your stuff done. Today we're going to talk about the MP40. It's a GSG ATI, American Tactical Inc. The MP40, 9mm. We're going to break down, reassemble, and in between that we're going to clean and lubricate the MP40. Let's go take a look. If you guys are big into history, big into 9mm, this is one you got to take a look at for your collection. German sporting guns, and ATI, American Tactical Incorporated, brings it in. They import it from Germany, so it is German-made replica of the MP40. So this thing is a semi-automatic 9mm, and it's super duper fun. Pretty heavy duty, well made. I've got a review video. If you look in my past videos, take a look at it, of the review. But it's super fun, super reliable, and fun to shoot. First thing I like to do is take this little washer here. It's like a lock washer, spring washer. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. You gotta be careful when you take it off because it is tensioned down there. And when you go to pull it off, the thing will go flying across the room. So be very careful about pulling this off. The spring comes off like that. Under that spring is the pin. Push that pin out. There's a pin on the other side. This pin will stay in. It just comes almost all the way out. When you do get there, I use this Allen to push from the other side. So it's sometimes stiff and hard to pull out, so just go on the other side, use an Allen, something small that won't do any damage, and push that pin out. When you pull that pin out, it will have spring tension. You feel like it's going to like spring out, come apart, but it will come in two parts like that. Remove the charging handle, it just pulls right out. Something there is a little bit of a complaint about, as you see he's wearing a little bit. You could have that pop out on you when you're shooting, but I haven't had that happen to me yet. Once you pull out the charging handle, you come to the back here and you want to pull out the spring assembly, and inside there you're going to have your bolt carrier mechanism, and that's what it looks like. Then you'll have a clear look into the barrel. Very simple and straightforward. Haven't cleaned this thing in a while and it has not had any issues to date. First thing I like to do is take my Hops 9. That's what I grew up with. A lot of guys use Ballistol and some other things, but that's what I'm going to use. Take a couple rags or 2x2 squares. I'm going to dip that in there, and then I'm going to rub down the firing mechanism, springs, pins. I'm going to do the same with the barrel, inside the receiver, and the lower. Just pretty much touch up everything with this solvent to break up some of the powder. Then I'll come behind it and I'll use this soft brush as well as a toothbrush, soft regular toothbrush that I use. Then I will come back with some clean pads and get the excess, and then we'll put some lubrication. I'm not wearing any gloves for this. Some guys will say to wear some gloves. It is a chemical solvent. Probably not the best long-term exposure to your pores and your skin, but I've chosen all my life not to wear gloves. Probably should. And I would probably recommend it to those that just started getting into this stuff. You see, the thing is a filthy mess. I have not cleaned this for a while. Definitely time to do it now. Want to be careful with your firing pin. You don't want to directly pour any solvent or oils down in that hole, as it could foul up in time. I just lightly go over it on the outside. Come back with your toothbrush, get in the tough areas, and here break it up a little bit. Then I will come back with some clean ones, and that way you could always tell how much you got left on there to take it back off. Running through the ringer here. I put a lot of rounds through this gun. It is very fun, very accurate, like I said. Very affordable. At least prior to this virus, it was very, very affordable. Not sure what they're going for now, but gosh, it was under $600 when I got it. Take all your pins, springs. I touch everything with the hoppies. Time for the barrel, same thing. Just work it around, get it in there. Get it all over the place. And come back with your brushes, get the fine areas. This loosens up the original powder. We're going to want to come back in with our brush and our cleaning rod afterwards. Definitely get it up into your magazine well. That will foul in time for sure. You get powder, carbon in there, maybe some. I'm going to take my soft brush, I'm going to dip it in the hops a little bit. I'm going to come in the back side. It's pretty hard to reach with your hands there. And clean that up a little bit. Take the toothbrush, get down in there. Getting the tough to reach areas. The toothbrush works really well. Got a habit of taking clean ones to run back over to make sure you get it all. It picks up the loose powder versus continually rubbing it with the dirty patch. And if it gets dirty, just get yourself some new ones. They're very inexpensive. Take t-shirts. We're all making masks now during this COVID-19. Take some t-shirts, old t-shirts, cut them up. Wash them first, but then you have a ton of t-shirt material that you can do the same thing with. Q-tips work well, which I'm not using today. I usually do in my cleaning videos. Do the same thing now with the lower. Get in there. The hammer right here is clean. Get all around. Safety. It's really simple. Really easy to clean. Said just that one pin. And go back over it with the clean rag. Even though it's a pistol, I'm going to take a cleaning rod because the barrel is a little bit longer and a little harder for me to get. Take one of my cleaning rags with the 9mm bristle on there. A little bit of hoppies on there. In previous videos, I think most manufacturers will tell you to insert the rod, cleaning rod, same direction that you're firing the pistol. There it is there. Go back through with the clean one, just like you did with the firearm around everywhere else. There you go. Picks up all the extra. We're going to want to do the same thing with oil. We'll do that right now. We'll have grab another clean rag. Get a little bit of oil. I happen to use the Lucas Extreme Oil. Put a couple drops. We're going to run that through the barrel. It may be a while before I get out to use this again. So we want to make sure you got a coat in the barrel. Put a light coat of oil on the outside. It really protects your firearm. Keeps some of that surface rust off. Depending on where you keep them. If you keep them in a gun safe with a dehumidifier or just, closet, box. I typically don't recommend keeping any firearms in cases where they can't breathe. Because if it does happen to hold moisture, you'll definitely get some surface rust pitting for sure. Both in the exterior and the barrel. So if you guys have firearms that have been sitting for a long time in cases or gun safes, open them up. Check them out. There is surface rust. You should be able to get it off. It should come off pretty easy. Make sure you don't damage the gun, but there are ways to, and solvents that will get the surface rust off. Pretty easy. Okay, that's done and clean. We'll do the same with the lower now. Hammer. I put oil on everything. Bolt carrier. Anywhere where there's wear, you're going to want to put a little bit of extra for lubrication. So wear parts, okay, that does move. I'm going to put a couple drops in there. Got the needle applicator, which is really nice. If you can see any wear parts, a lot of people ask, where do I put it? If there's any wear, that's where you're going to put it. Last thing you want to check out is on the lower, you are going to take your Allen key and you're going to undo this Allen here and that Allen right there. Because what that is the actual trigger. There's a bar, a mechanism that will actually set off the firing pin, and you're going to see that. Take that cover off. There you go. Take a look at this. Here is the trigger that actually moves the firing pin up front in here. That's why there's such a long length of pull there. That's how they do it. So I like to clean that up and put a little bit of oil. Put a couple drops of oil here, work it around, move it a little bit, take a cloth, get the excess. Put your cover back on. You can see there's a cutout here for where your safety goes up front. Remember, the long screw goes in the back in the rear, and the short screw goes up front. And it will be time to reassemble the rest of the firearm. Now, time to put it back. You're going to see there's going to be grooves right there and right there, and it's actually staggered. So you see how it's staggered right there? It's like putting back together a puzzle. One thing to make sure when you're putting this in, you see your charging handle hole there. It moves, so you want to make sure it's up. You can actually see it. Take your spring. The spring's going to fit right over that. And here, remember, you're going to have a lot of tension. I'm going to take this plug at the end. You're going to see it's flat. So there is only one way to put it in where it's flat. So that's going to sort of hang right there. Take your lower. Your lower is going to fit right where we took the pin out originally. You're going to put the end of the barrel down in. You're going to have that pressure from the spring, so you're going to want to hold it tight in here. Once it's tight in there, you want to push that pin right back in. Very important not to forget on the other side is our little lock washer, spring washer, whatever you guys call those. Leave the comments below. Tell me what that thing's called. Here's my little screwdriver. Push it right back on. There you go. And last but not least, you want to put your charging handle back in. And that, my friends, will just pop right back in there. Here you go. MP40, 9mm, ready to go. Sounds good. Function check, good. This is a great time to clean, lubricate, get all your firearms out, take a look, do some inventory, do some checks, and if they're already clean, add some lubrication to them. Keep them oiled. Great time for that. So check out your inventory, be safe, and until next time, Todd the Gun Guy!